If you feel like the SEO for your HVAC company has sort of stalled out or plateaued, this is the video for you. I'm going to walk you through 5 steps here to help you diagnose whether or not it's working for you. We're going to account for things like market conditions. We're going to look at individual channels. And then I'm going to give you the trump card at the very end of this. After we've ruled out everything else, it could be some of these other factors. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go off of the data, not off of feelings. It is very easy to get caught up in the trap of feelings versus the data. And so if you don't have year-over-year records of all the sales side of the business, the actual estimates scheduled, estimates closed, versus the marketing data, the calls that came in total, the repeat callers versus unique callers, things like that, separated by channel, you are going to be guessing. And if you've been working with the same marketing agency or freelancer for a couple years now and you don't have that data, now is time to make the change, because we're in an era now where you should have access to this data and it should be getting reported to you, and you should not be guessing and going on your feelings, right? So I can get on my soapbox now. This is the part about the data, right? So if you don't have the data, the rest of this video is going to be a little bit guessy guess, okay? So now that we've talked about the data, let's talk about how to actually read the data to figure out if you're on track with your HVAC SEO. So the first thing I want to remind you of is that your industry is pretty seasonal. It's driven a lot by the weather and economic conditions. Things can be shifting year over year. And so what I like to do is I like to compare the data for an entire month versus last year, same month. And in this current year that we're in right now, we're seeing that the cooling season is starting in some areas 45 to 60 days after it normally comes through. All right. So things are changing. What I also like to look at is quarterly. How did this quarter do versus same quarter last year? So you get a better idea of how the performance is working on a quarterly basis than the monthly basis, which can be very subject to the weather. So looking at quarterly can help you realize what the problem actually is and if you've actually seen any lift from your search campaign. Because if you can't see the lift in a year, you are not working with the right team, okay? Let's look at the third thing, right? And that's seasonality, okay? So is the season early? Is it late? Is it on par? Is it more mild? Last year, we had a pretty mild season here in my part of the country. And so we didn't see the same heating season that we are normally accustomed to. So sales were flatter than they normally were. People didn't have the need to fix or replace their furnaces, okay? The next thing you have to look at is the actual market conditions. So interest rates are up this year versus what they were a year ago. People are holding on to their cash longer and they're opting for the repair that's going to help them limp along and put off a replacement until next year, right? So market conditions, the economy itself can affect it. I've seen huge reports from probably, 75, 80% of the owners that I've talked to nationwide are just seeing a huge lag in new installs, new replacements this year versus last. And this is the economy that we're currently in. So you got to adjust for that too. But you should still have the same or more service calls this year versus previous year. So look at that number instead if estimates are down. Next, you want to look at the different channels, okay? So again, if you're not tracking by channel or your current agency is not tracking by channel, you need a new vendor, somebody who has the software in place that can help you determine where activity is actually coming from. What we've noticed is that there's a big shift towards local service ads. And so it's pretty easy to get leads through local service ads right now, easier than it has been in previous years. And so if you're seeing and you're tracking by channel that all of your new activity is coming from local service ads, Google ads, referrals, or other sources, and your SEO itself, the activity of your website and your Google profile is stalled out, it's about the same, you know you've got a problem. One of the other things that we're seeing right now with regards to the organic SEO side, the stuff coming from Google Maps and your website positioning on a search, is that there's a lot of spam calls right now. So the spam isn't showing up inside your local service ads tracking. It's not showing up inside the Google ads tracking, but it is going to be reflected in the activity that's coming through your Google business profile. You want to look at that and see, are the numbers way up? Do they seem way up this year versus last year? Well, why don't you look at just 1 month of data and go through your call recordings and start marking out how many came through as spam, people trying to tell you your Google business profile is not verified, right? You got to account for all of that. And then you can see, do we have the same number of inquiries this year versus last year? Or are we just getting a lot of spam, right? So we've accounted for some major things. We talked about the importance of data. We looked at looking at your data from a quarterly perspective versus a monthly perspective. We looked at market conditions. We looked at economic conditions. Let's look at the last thing that I would look at. If everything else seems to be checking out, but you've stalled out and you're not seeing forward momentum, here's where I would look, all right? First thing is your Google business profile in regards to the areas of your city that you want to service, okay? And you want to compare that to your competitors. So if you're over here on this side of the city and you want business over here on this side of the city, but you've got competitors that are here in between, they're the ones that are going to get showing up in a Google search over you because they're closer to the searcher. Got a lot of information about this on our YouTube channel. You can check it out in the description below this video. There's so much going on with Google business profiles right now that if you're not close to the searcher, it is really hard to get their business for free from a Google search. So proximity is the first thing, right? And you might entertain, if you're a more established business, getting an additional Google profile in a nearby suburb or on the other side of town to get closer to the people that are searching for your business. We have a great case study in the description below this video. We helped a business earn over 1,000 new phone calls year over year. 60% of them came from a second Google business profile listing that we strategically picked out. I would also look at the reviews that you're getting and how many reviews you're getting on a monthly basis versus some of your competitors. So it's not just the total review count that matters anymore. It's the review velocity, how many you're getting over a period of time that influences how you show up in a Google search. The last thing I would look at kind of ties into the first thing I shared is new competitors entering the market. So if you've got competitors popping up in different areas of town where you used to get a lot of business and you're not getting that business anymore, it's because they're closer. And you got to look at some different search strategies in order to pick up where you've naturally lost business because of the way that Google's changing their algorithm and the way that new competitors are entering. We happen to be on top of the most cutting edge strategies with regards to search marketing, with regards to ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude. They're going out and searching the internet and giving suggestions to people based off of really complex search queries that they never would have done before. We're on top of this new era of search and what it means for businesses just like you. If you've seen your marketing sort of stall out over time, if you've been through this checklist and you realize now, maybe I'm getting behind, reach out to us at Building Blocks Digital. Schedule a call from the description below this video with me or somebody from my team. We'll help you diagnose what it is that's really going on and put you back on the path to growth moving forward with a search strategy that actually works, that you can be accountable to, and you can see where every lead comes from, the quality of it, and so much more. So I look forward to chatting with you soon on an upcoming call. Book it now, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye for now. Thanks so much for watching my video. If you like this one, you'll love some of the other videos we have posted here on our channel that help blue-collar business owners get more out of their digital marketing. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, check out the other videos. If you got questions or comments, post them below. I look forward to catching you on the next video. Bye for now.